Shauna is currently just letting everybody in.
Okay, I think so far I've got everybody invited in. Okay. Just slowly trickling, a few more people trickling in. So
sure. It's just 2 minutes after 2, so.
perfect.
Is everybody staying warm?
You said that with such hope in your voice, Diane. It's Tina. I'll say Happy New Year to everybody. It's the year of the ox.
Yes,
now,
that's
so.
true.
That's right. Yes, yes.
Is that a good year?
Well, you know,
it depends on who you are.
But they do say the ox is supposed to be very stable and deliberate and kind of kind and loyal, very different than the rat who likes to kind of turn things over and it's a little frantic. So, you know, I think that to me sounds like a good future.
I think that's a very good omen, I think. I like that.
I think I'm the year of the rat here, Tino.
Oh, well, the rat is just sneaky. The rat is very sneaky and smart. So it's because the story is that the emperor invites 12 animals on this race, and so the order is in the order that they finish. So the rat recognized that the ox was faster and stronger. So when they get to the stream at the end, he convinces the ox to let him ride on his head to go over the stream because otherwise he won't make it. And the ox, of course, is friendly and supportive, and so he does that. And of course, they get to their side, and the rat jumps off the head and runs to the front and wins. So, you know, there's a lot to be said for the ingenuity and the smarts of the rat, but they're a little less predictable, everyone says.
Oh, that's probably true. So
that's very good.
Rosalind, did I change the screen?
The screen is fine.
Oh, okay. Sorry, it's just showing very tiny on mine. It's just a big Shauna face that I see. So I was like, obviously I clicked something.
I think you've pinned yourself.
Oh, okay. Well, remove pin. Oh, very good. Thank you. Look at that. Now I see a big Diane. Switch to shared content. Okay, now we're good.
All right. This is a great turnout, by the way, considering the short turnaround time. We only came out yesterday with the information that we were holding this webinar today, and it's very nice to see the number of people that have taken the time to join us. We're going to spend the next hour talking about the new health orders, public health orders that have just come down, and what that impact is going to be on our organization, on Skate Canada Manitoba. What does it mean for you as clubs, as you as coaches, as skaters? What do these new health orders mean? Because it's been November 1st in Winnipeg, I think, since we were last on the ice. So this is a little bit exciting, at least for me anyways. So I'm going to hand it over to Shauna to take us through the PowerPoint. So Shauna and Rosalind will be leading us through this. So over to you, Shauna.
Thanks, Diane. Just a couple of housekeeping items. I would ask that everybody put themselves on mute, so if possible, so that we don't have any background noise from other individuals or interference with the presentation. We will be answering your questions. We ask you to type your questions in the chat box, and we will be getting to them at the end of the formal part of our presentation today. We will be recording it, so Rosalind has hit record, so we will be posting this information. As we know, there are many members of our community that are unable to join us this afternoon because of the timing and the notice that we were able to provide for this session. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of, since the orders were announced on Tuesday, prior to that, we did have our COVID team was meeting to kind of go through what information was released previously by Dr. Rosen and the Premier of what we were to anticipate with the new orders that are coming due, that are starting today. So we kind of had that well underway. And then on Tuesday, the Premier and Dr. Rosen provided additional information with some additional add-ons to the orders. So that set us back a little bit. And we've spent since Tuesday after the media conference up until like literally 5 minutes before we started, getting information and clarification from both Skate Canada and Sport Manitoba from the provincial government. So the information we have, we will share the best that we can with the information that we have been able to answer. If we cannot answer your questions, we will certainly try to get the answers for you. We will be posting an updated FAQ early next week with some of the questions that we've already received today that we will be sharing at the end of this presentation. And then we will add in anything further from questions that we weren't able to answer today as soon as we have that. So having said that, as we continue to the first part of our presentation, we're going to separate it into what we can do outdoors, what can we do indoors, and then we'll go through some of the questions. So outdoor rinks, or ODRs, as we all like to call them now. Since that information has come out, we've created a second set of protocols just for outdoor, as our initial protocols that were created in the late spring, early summer, were for indoor. So the outdoor protocols, based on the information from the public health orders, are that outdoor rinks, you're allowed to do one-on-one lessons. You're allowed to do semi-private lessons with a maximum of 3 skaters on the ice with a coach. Part of the protocols also are flow exactly with what the indoor protocols are. So your public health orders must be followed. You must do the shared health screening prior to arriving to the rink. You must ensure that any of your participants have already completed the waiver for your club, or if not, they will have to complete one for you that you can keep on file at the club. Sign-in sheets and for contact tracing must be completed with every session. And it's also very important for our coaches and our stakeholders and our participants to remember the rule of 2. So never be alone with an individual or a minor. Always have 2 adults in your open spaces. Outdoor rink considerations. There are a few things that are slightly different because of the outdoor and the community centers and the facilities, what they do or can do in the outdoor area, because it's so open to the public. So we are recommending that all participants sanitize before and after using any of the pieces of the facility of the outdoor rink, whether it be the bench, entering or exiting the ice surface, etc., just to ensure that you are keeping yourself as sanitized and healthy as possible. We are recommending you also wash your outdoor attire, such as your mittens and anything that you've used in a high touch area from an outdoor rink, because there are less likelihood that the facilities are going to be doing sanitizing out in the outdoors. It is also very important, not just for coaches, but for the actual participants, to inspect the ice surface to ensure that there isn't any cracks, holes, gapes, and make sure you mark any so that you are aware of where the danger areas are on the ice. If it is unsafe to do so, please ensure that you do not continue with the lesson. The next area is monitoring the conditions. In the indoors, we know we get cold, but we don't have to necessarily. So ice conditions, while you look at indoors as well, but outdoors is more apparent because they don't flood and patch like they do indoors. The temperature, please be cognizant of what the temperature is prior to going out there, whether it's the actual temperature or with the temperature with the wind chill. If you're in a more open space, the outdoor conditions for skating, make sure that they're in a safe zone for you to practice. The lighting conditions, whether the sun is there glaring on the ice surface or whether or not it's getting to be darker and there isn't lighting in the facility. So those are some of the areas that we want to make sure to bring to your attention as considerations as you progress through the use of the ODRs. The next piece is some of the insurance questions and areas that we need to be cognizant of. Some of the initial information that was shared from Skate Canada, which we've actually had received additional clarification. So initially the extra ice or the outdoor ice must not be shared with non-Skate Canada members, for example, like the general public. Since that statement was circulated by Skate Canada, they have clarified their situation, and as the statement is there, it's almost impossible to try and get only Skate Canada members on the ice. So your insurance benefit is valid even if there are non-Skate Canada members also on the same ice surface as you. That doesn't mean you can coach them. That doesn't mean they can be a participant in what you're doing. It just means that they can be doing their thing on the ice and you can be doing your thing on the ice. So the two concerns from, or two areas of criteria from Skate Canada is the coach must be present and that the school is aware that these activities are taking place at that facility with the individuals from their club. So the next one, and this is something that we've just received additional information on, the extra ice must not be scheduled on a routine basis. So Skate Canada initially said that you could not be using this ice as a regular programming. They have since, so it says clarification, so the routine base would be that these additional sessions cannot be augmented regular sessions in a manner that makes them reoccurring, part of the regular training routine. And the club must know, again, that they don't have to put it in writing that they agree or acknowledge. You just have to ensure as coaches that your club executive is aware that that this programming or this use of ice surface is happening. So the club could give that verbally to you. And if and when a claim is submitted, they would just have to verify that this is, that the club in fact was aware and that they were supportive of this information. The next one regarding insurance is during this extra ice at no time may Skate Canada coach instruct group lessons or provide group programming such as CanSkate or CanPower. So Skate Canada has clarified some additional information. What is not allowed to happen is CanSkate or CanPower group lessons happening on the outdoor ice. If a coach has 3 star skaters or competitive students and wants to provide a group lesson, that is allowed, and it is not intended as a group lesson for insurance purposes. We will have further details and information on our question and answer part of this presentation, as there were some specific questions and that we reached out and had received specific answers back from Skate Canada in regards to the insurance. So as again, if you have questions, make sure you can type them in the chat or make note of them on your own little notepads and then ask them if we do not cover it as we continue on. And I will pass it to Rosalind to discuss the indoor rink protocols.
Hi, everyone. Ooh. So Skate Canada Manitoba has the updated return to play protocols available online. All the protocols that we had in place before for indoor facilities has remained unchanged from the fall. So the cleaning and the signage, the sign-in, session record forms, that all remains the same. So what can happen is only individual one-on-one lessons on indoor ice. And we will go over that in a little bit more detail during the Q&As. So a maximum of 30 coaches and skaters, so 15 one-on-one lessons may occur on an indoor ice surface or to the maximum set by the facility, whichever one is lower. And again, we will go over this in a little bit more detail in the Q&As. So we're going to start some of the questions that you have been submitting to us. Thank you, everyone who has been submitting questions. They've been great. The province is still in the red zone, and we thought that in the red there could be no skating. We understand that there is no CanSkate and group lessons, but we are wondering about our star skaters and if they can still have private lessons. So since the government amended their health orders to include organized sport, outdoors and indoors, it has allowed us to adapt our protocols. Many figure skating related activities will not be available while we are in the red zone, such as competitions. But yes, private one-on-one lessons are permitted indoors, and both private and semi-private lessons can occur outdoors.
Okay, with one-on-one coaching, does the coach need to only teach one student per session? For example, 4 coaches, 4 skaters on the session. Can they work with more than one coach or only one coach? When the skater's lesson is completed, are they allowed to practice, or do they need to be in the lesson the entire time they are on the ice? So the coach is only able to teach one student per session while on indoor ice. During that session, the skater cannot move between coaches. When the skater has finished their lesson, they are not able to stay on the ice to practice.
It is possible to do a private lesson or semi-private lesson. Sorry, is it possible to do a private lesson or semi-private lesson with a CanSkate level skater on outdoor ice? It is clear that the program cannot be taught, but are private lessons allowed for all levels? So we have received additional clarification that private or semi-private, up to a maximum of 3 skaters for CanSkate can be taught on outdoor ice for CanSkate level skaters. Private one-on-one CanSkate can be provided to skaters on indoor ice as well. For this year and this year only, Skate Canada is allowing flexibility in the delivery method. Typically, CanSkate is taught in a group situation and not in a private one-on-one. However, due to our health protocols, it is necessary to amend. So program standards must be adhered to at all times to ensure that Skate Canada members, coaches, and clubs are continuing to deliver a quality product.
Can the outdoor lessons be taught at a private residence or only at a public ODR? Both. Coaches and skaters are covered on any outdoor ice surface as long as public health orders are being followed. The coach is in good standing. The skater or skaters are current Skate Canada members, and the club and school is in support of the session, including at private residences.
Do skaters need to wear a mask the whole time they are on the ice? Sorry, while they're on the ice. Skaters do not need to wear a mask on the ice unless the facilities require it, indoor or outdoor. Whatever the highest standard is, we abide by it.
If 30 people, including coaches, is the maximum allowed on the ice, do the skaters have to be in a lesson the whole time, or can they practice on their own? On indoor ice, skaters must be with the coach the entire time. Once the skater has concluded their lesson, they must leave the ice surface.
The Chief Public Health Officer announced that indoor arenas would be able to open to individual training. How does that translate to bodies on the ice, number of skaters and/or coaches? So the government has stated in the public health order that all indoor training must be 1 coach to 1 athlete. The indoor ice surface cannot exceed 25% capacity, which will be determined by the facility. Skate Canada Manitoba has a maximum ice capacity of 30 persons, 15 coaches to 15 skaters. If the facility determines that the on-ice capacity is less than 30 persons, you will have to adhere to the facility determined number. If the facility determines that the on-ice capacity is higher than 30 persons, you will need to adhere to Skate Canada Manitoba's maximum capacity of 30 people on the ice surface.
In terms of outdoor skating, can coaching occur? What does this mean for privately owned rinks? Yes, coaching can occur on outdoor rinks, including private backyard rinks. Again, all public health orders must be followed. The coach must be in good standing, and the club must be in support of the session, and the skater must be a current, a lot of musts there, must be a current Skate Canada member.
When you say 15 one-on-one sessions, is that per day? No, it means the number allowed on the ice at one time. How a club school structures their indoor session is up to the club school, with considerations regarding facility protocols. A club school could have 2 hours of ice and 4 coaches. This would allow 4 skaters to be on the ice at one time, 1 with each coach. The 2 hours of ice could be broken down into 4 30-minute sessions, allowing for a total of 16 skaters to receive 30 minutes each. This is dependent on how the facility will be handling participants waiting to go on the ice. Will they be allowed to wait in a dressing room? In the stands? Will they have to wait outside? You will need to talk with your facility about this.
Can members of the same household be on the same lesson together, i.e. one coach, 2 skaters? So we did receive clarification just before the meeting started from Sport Manitoba from the public health officer offices. No members of the same household cannot be with the same coach indoors. So it is one individual skater and one individual coach. Household members cannot be on the ice together with one coach.
Does a child have to be in a lesson with the coach to be on the ice? And for indoor ice, yes, they must be in a lesson for the duration that they are on the ice.
Could you clarify the 30 coaches and skaters on the ice? Is the limitation based on the number of coach skater pairs or the number of people on the ice? We only have 4 coaches. So does that mean we are limited to 4 skaters per session, or can we have 4 coaches and 26 skaters with the coaches doing individual one-on-one lessons with their skaters? The limitation is a maximum of 15 pairs for 30 people total, unless your facility says that the on-ice capacity is less than 30. If you have 4 coaches, you are limited to 4 skaters on the ice indoors. You cannot have skaters on the ice that are not in a lesson.
Why are skaters not required to wear masks? In gyms, even while working out, you are required to be wearing masks. So athletes engaged in sporting activity have not been mandated to wear masks. If a facility requires it, then skaters would have to wear masks on the ice, as it is a higher standard.
Will skaters be able to cross the border? Skate Canada Manitoba strongly discourages travel from a red zone. The government has rules in place along with who and in what circumstances people may be exempt from the self-isolation rule when re-entering Manitoba. We've got the link below. Basically, anybody who leaves Manitoba must, unless you're on the exemption list, must quarantine for 14 days prior to engaging in any activity outside of that isolation.
Can a pairs team train? A pairs team can train together outdoors. The close contact rule of no more than 15 minutes per session is in effect. Indoors, each skater must be in a lesson with a coach.
What does it mean for a club school to be in support of the supplemental ice session? The club school must say yes. They approve, support the lesson or lessons occurring on an ice surface. It does not have to be in writing at the time, but in the event that an injury occurs, an injury benefit claim made, the clubs and school would have to provide verbal or written acknowledgement that they supported that ice. This includes personal backyard rinks, public outdoor rinks, and indoor ice.
If skater A is finished their 20-minute lesson with coach A, can skater A move on to a 20-minute lesson with coach B? We are under the understanding that skaters cannot move around from coach to coach on a session. If session A was 20 minutes long, session B was 20 minutes long, etc., and skaters exited the ice from session A, sanitized, did the protocols, and then returned for session B, they could be with a different coach.
If a club has PAs to help with sessions, Star and Competitive, are they able to have a skater 1-to-1 ratio with new guidelines, or are the clubs only able to have as many skaters as they have certified coaches on the ice? A program assistant cannot be used indoors as an instructor. We have consulted with Sport Manitoba, and the 1-to-1 ratio on indoor ice is to be provided by who our sport allows to instruct, which is coaches who are certified or are in the NCCP certification pathway.
So we have received additional clarification about the following item that was listed in the outdoor ice insurance. The following item, the extra ice must not be scheduled on a routine basis, meaning that they are not supposed to be augmenting regular sessions in a manner that would make them reoccurring. We asked the following question to Skate Canada. In Manitoba, because of the restrictions we have on indoor training, is there flexibility for clubs on this during COVID, especially for a club who no longer has indoor ice? Skate Canada provided the following response. Where a club no longer has access to indoor ice because the facility has removed the ice for the year. For this year only, the outdoor ice sessions are deemed to be regular as they are official substitute for indoor ice. So if you don't have ice, you may routinely schedule sessions on an outdoor ice rink.
Okay, so we have finished the formal part of it with the Q&As that were submitted to us previously. So if there's, I'll look in the, I know there's been a few things in the chat box that I've seen pop up. So if you have questions, please feel free in the chat box or put a note in the chat box that you would like to speak your question. And then we will call on you and ask you to unmute to ask your question. Or you can email Rosalind directly instead of doing it in the chat box if you wish. So let me just pull up the chat box on my screen here. So from Larissa, does Skate Manitoba have a temperature threshold that is too cold outside? We did discuss this and we felt that we would leave it to the discretion of the individual, either the club or coach and participant, to determine what they feel is a safe temperature to be outside and to be training. So we do not have a set temperature. Tina asked, can a coach provide remote coaching when a skater is on ice, outdoor, indoor, as long as there is another adult or coach with first aid certification on the ice with the skater? Yes, that was easy.
Hold on, what's the question again?
If a coach they can provide remote coaching when a skater is on the ice, indoor or outdoor, as long as there is another coach with first aid with certification on the ice with the skater. So it couldn't be another adult, sorry.
It says, yeah, it says adult. So in indoor, for clarification, there has to be a coach with every skater present. A remote coach wouldn't take the place of that. So a remote lesson can happen on the ice if there is also a coach present.
Yes.
For outdoor, it would revert to normal seasonal rules. So as long as there's a Skate Canada coach present in general, then a skater could go off and have a remote type lesson.
So see, I saw you answer that underneath. I didn't scroll far enough. Yes,
That's
Patty.
okay.
Patty asked, how long are these protocols in place? Right now, the current public health orders are in effect for 3 weeks until March the 5th. So usually the 5 to 7 days prior to the expiry of the current public health orders, they announce what may be changing or opening up or a request for public feedback on some of their considerations. So at this time, until further notice, they are in place until some of the orders may be relaxed, and that may change some of the information. So as soon as anything comes out, we will know. We have some Houston's, I'm not sure who that is. Houston, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, so it says no can skate because you can't have group lessons inside, but it someone needs to take videos for their CanSkate portfolio, would they be able to do a one-on-one private video?
I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know. We haven't looked at from a coaching NCCP certification process. I know Skate Canada has extended. Cadvan, do you have any?
Yeah, they have extended dates, and we can communicate that with you guys probably on a separate forum as they continue to evolve. I know there has not been discussion about one-on-one that I've been a part of as a replacement video, just that they're making concessions to extending dates so that when we do return to sport, that the videos can resume in the manner that they're laid out.
Okay. Patty has a question. In small clubs or one or two coaches, how are they going to be able to survive? Yes, and at this moment in time, there's a lot of different considerations that have to take place in the public health orders that that the province has allowed gradual, small, tight controlled openings. It may not be possible or feasible financially or human people wise for a club to open or participate. We would encourage communities that have, or clubs that are out there in smaller communities that have one coach or two coaches. You might want to have conversations with the surrounding Skate Canada clubs around you and try to work together to all go into one ice surface, so that you could have 3, 4, 5 coaches on the ice with 5 skaters and kind of work through that to make it more feasible. Having said that, we know that there's distance considerations, but that is one thought that we would recommend. So, and then would the province consider bringing in 15 coaches and 15 skaters to train? We as a section have not discussed that, but as I said, we are encouraging our clubs to work together, to communicate, and to try to facilitate some of these opportunities. So Lisa was asking, will there be refund of Skate Canada fees, especially for can skaters who are only able to skate for a few sessions? So Skate Canada has released information regarding what their refund policy and process was. It was in our e-news, and I don't have the date, I apologize. It was not that long ago, but we can certainly recirculate that. Skate Canada, excuse me, is reviewing. They have information, and when you look at the information, if you have questions regarding that, they are encouraging you to reach out to them. They are looking at each club and each situation on a case-by-case basis. So we strongly recommend and encourage that you reach out to Skate Canada, provide them the information that they request, and they will get back to you in a very short time fashion and open up a dialogue with your club. And there are processes that they have in place that will allow for refunds in certain circumstances. So please don't hesitate to reach out. So we will circulate or republish the date or that information from Skate Canada.
It is on our website as well.
Okay, thank you, Rosalind. I couldn't remember where else we put it. Okay, so go to our COVID resource page. Their information is on there to do that. So can 2 children from the same household have one coach, or will they need their own coach even though they are from the same household? So we did receive clarification. We did reach out to Sport Manitoba, and they reached out to the Public Health Officer Office and the Province of Manitoba. And they did indicate to us that no family members are not considered one person. Each person is their own. There's no family cohorts or bubbles. It is one coach, one skater that can be on the ice at the same time. You can't have one coach and 2 children from the same household.
Unless you're outside.
Sorry, yes, indoors. Outside is different. Thank you, Diane. All right, does anybody else have any other questions? There doesn't appear to be anything in the chat. Rosalind, did you have anything coming in your email box?
Let me check.
Okay, so there's Tanya. For pairs indoors, if 2 coaches are working with 2 skaters, can they do joint elements for 15 minutes? Rosalind, you have probably more background on that.
That's really
So-
entering into the gray zone.
Good question.
Perspective, it is a good question from our understanding.
My perspective would be no. They're really clear on one-to-ones.
Yeah.
My perspective is that pairs indoors would not meet the requirements that have been laid out to us.
But outdoors, yes.
Outdoors, yes.
And the outdoors are still technically have the 15-minute threshold, do they not, Rosalind?
Yes.
So for the indoor, for the skaters, for pairs, we are saying no. To our understanding, there's no pairs work, just individual one-on-one training. Anybody else have any questions, comments, thoughts?
I was just going to add something that I know that these aren't necessarily what we wanted to hear. We're not going back to the ice full time, which is what lots of us were kind of hoping that we would be able to do. But at least we're getting our skaters back on the ice and letting them do some training.
I like Brian. I like your kind of let's try and get around the intent and the spirit of the orders. Unfortunately, we are going to have to say no.
Good try, though. Really good try.
But good outside of the box thinking, Brian.
And I would guess some of the indoor rinks are as cold as the outdoor rink. So yeah.
Yes. So I mean, I think at the end of the day, government, as in everything in every industry and every that's out there, they all want more. The government has been very, very firm on the slow reopening to ensure all Manitobans are safe, as well as they are concerned about the new variants coming in and the severity that they spread. So I feel that if we follow the orders and the intent and the spirit that they were made for the next 3 weeks, that we'll have positive outcomes, and we will show the communities that sport is following the rules and willing to do and doing what they need to do so that we can reopen in a grander capacity as we move forward. So we'll be hopeful that in 2 weeks' time that the government is putting more on the table so that in 3 weeks' time we'll have more openings and better news and fewer restrictions. So I don't think I see anything more in the chat box for questions.
Just got one by email.
Okay.
So Sarah Merkins asked, does the close contact rule apply to coach skater lessons? So a lesson of 30 minutes would be okay. So yes, indoors, if you are having an indoor one-on-one lesson, you are able to spend a maximum of 15 minutes within the close contact 2-meter physical distance area per session. So it's not, so session is a lesson, then it's 15 minutes for that lesson.
Okay, the question, our rink generally closes mid-March, so we would not be in the wrong to completely cancel our CanSkate program from the year. No, you are welcome to do whatever your club feels is in its best interest. I would reach out to the rink facility to see what they have in mind moving forward, if they are going ahead with their normal shutdown or if they're going to try to extend the season some. That may be food for thought for you, Darla. But I know a number of clubs have had that tough discussion within their facilities and within their executive and their community, and they have made the difficult choice to close up shop for the year. So, we completely understand that is, a viable, reasonable, responsible decision to be made based on availability and fiscal responsibility for your club's future.
Just a question.
Hi, Patty.
I know I've already typed enough in, but just like sessions can be, we could make our, say we got, say 3 hours of ice, we could do half-hour sessions, consider them half-hour sessions. So there would be 6 sessions.
Absolutely.
Rather than say 2, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm just trying to think, or a person could do 1 hour at 4 sessions. As long as you clarify that ahead of time, is that what I'm just trying to think, like we do have people that if they're going to travel, like you say, we're trying to, if we amalgamate people together, then, and if they're traveling, we got to figure out they're not going to drive for 15 or half an hour, right? So that's why I just kind of wondered. So if they came on for 15, they could go off for 15, come on for 15, we could run it that way too, correct?
Absolutely. You are 100% correct.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that because when you talk sessions, we used to always talk about 2 sessions, which are an hour each, right? So, okay, no, that makes sense. I just wanted to have that clarified, that that's what it is. Okay, perfect. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay.
Nicole, does that answer your question in the chat as well? That a session can kind of, perfect, right?
Excellent. So we hope this information was worth your time to come and listen to what we had to say and try and clarify as best we could the information that we've been able to gather on your behalf from both Skate Canada's insurance perspective and the province of Manitoba's public health orders and how that affects us in our skating world. We know that the orders came in effect this morning. So in essence, people are chomping at the bit to do what they can do. And as long as you're, wanting to get the right information and do it safely, we applaud those who are sticking with us and sticking through the pandemic so that we can come out the other side of this. Can they come back on with the same coach? Absolutely. Yeah, they don't, Vicki, they can, whatever a session is, basically you're wiping the slate clean and you're starting fresh. So you can certainly do that. Or if they could stay, if it's with the same coach with the one skater, they could be on the ice for the entire hour together. A club can decide what a session is, whether it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour and a half. If one coach wants to stick with the skater for an hour and a half, it might drive them crazy, but they can certainly do that, or they could do as small as 10 or 15 minutes. So absolutely. Okay, it doesn't seem, Rosalind, anything more in your inbox?
Nope.
There is no synchro, correct. No synchro team practices can happen, but individual, one-on-one, indoors, outdoors, a maximum of 3 people at a time.
So it would still be skills-based training for synchro.
Right. Question. Okay, Houston.
Okay. You're talking about sessions. So say you decided to do a half an hour session. Do all, like say you have 3 coaches, do all 3 coaches have to run their session for half an hour? Or can you have one coach for a half an hour, like run a session for half an hour while another coach runs a session for 15 minutes?
It could be, because it's one skater, one coach. So as long as there's one skater and one coach, you can have, staggering start times and finish times, as long as anybody who's a coach is on the ice with one skater only at the same time. Oh. What is the reasoning for 3 skaters only at one time in outdoor lessons? That is a Skate Canada insurance question. I'm not exactly sure the rationale behind that, but I know that's what Skate Canada had advised us that the insurance allows. Rosalind, do you have anything further on that for clarification, or?
No, you got it right.
Okay. Is there a number of bodies allowed on outdoor rinks? from the Skate Canada perspective, they can be pockets, but one coach can work with 3 skaters. It would depend on the facility or the size of the rink of who else can be there, because as we said earlier on in the session, Skate Canada has recognized that public outdoor spaces, facilities, ODRs, they cannot control and manage the number of participants that are on the ice surface doing their leisure skating or whatever. So that would really, the coach would have to be monitoring the situation and the safety while on the outdoor rink with the general public when they're doing their sessions. If it gets more crowded, obviously what you can do, limited.
So the only thing I'll add to that is some outdoor rinks have maximum capacities posted on that rink. So just be aware that there could be a poster near a rink that will have a maximum number there.
That's true. The rink near my house only has 5 skaters.
Right, yeah. So yeah, based on the facility, if they've predetermined, and as a coach, if it's not predetermined, you just have to monitor for safety's sake for your skaters. If you have 3 skaters and you were only teaching 1 at a time, could the other 2 be practicing alone? On outdoor rinks, yes. Okay, I don't know. They keep every once in a while are trickling in. It's hard to, when you're trying to type. I know when I've been on Zoom calls and you're trying to type your question before they wind up the meeting. So, Diane, do you have anything closing to say?
No, I just want to thank everybody for their patience. I know it hasn't been easy, but I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to maybe seeing some skating back on the ice again. And while I'm out walking in this frigid weather, it'd be nice to see some lessons happening on some of the outdoor rinks I walk by. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Cadvan or Rosalind, do you have anything else that you want to mention that wasn't mentioned today?
No, I think that's good.
Thanks, Cadvan.
Unless you wanted to briefly touch on harness.
I think if we have those questions, we can just deal with them on a one-off.
Okay, sounds good.
Rosalind?
I have nothing further to add. Thanks, everybody.
All right. So we appreciate, again, like Diane said, your time and your jumping on the call in such short notice. We hope that the information provided some information clarity for you. Again, if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to Rosalind or Cadvan or myself, and we will do our best to find the answers for you. And if there's any clarifications that we receive or further information, we will certainly communicate through our platforms to you. But let's stay the course and have fingers crossed that will be further along or more openings in 3 weeks' time.
Stay warm, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
We'll wave.